All right. So I'm Pete Boyce. I'm lead program manager on the Expression Blend product. So I've been working on Windows Phone stuff for the last, I guess, couple months now. So I'm going to show you guys basically what we got in stock. I guess last meeting like a month ago, there was a lot of DS stuff, and we're going to show some goodness here that's in Expression. All the stuff I'm showing you is all included in the free Windows Phone developer tools. So if you install that thing, if you install the beta, you'll get Expression Blend for Windows Phone as well. So it's free to start up with, easy to use. So this is I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Blend, so I'll just sort of go into some base Blend things and try and focus on the things which are basically new for phone, some of the light up features that we did. So this is just a brand new project on the design surface. One of the ways that I usually start is sample data. I'm not sure if people are familiar with this. This is a feature that we did in Blend 3. This makes it very easy for me to use like data-bound, make a data-bound application. Some sample data is essentially just dummy data where I can add like random properties. I can say like I have a property which is like names or addresses, or it's basically a collection of data. Drag it on here so I get a data-bound UI. First thing that you see is that this is completely Windows Phone style, so we get the full look and feel on the design surface. With all the phone controls, you get the nice phone checkbox, that stuff. If you're looking at this, like the text, these little address strings, maybe not so good. So what we can do is we can actually go in here, let's do some modification, make this stuff look good. I'll go to the data template, which is the item for each of the list box items. We see the text block, which is our address that we're data bound to, and the actual checkbox. One of the things about Windows Phone is that there's a number of built-in styles for it, for text. They really advise that you use to sort of follow the Windows Phone look and feel. This is a big part of phone development, is really following the Metro look and feel. So included in there are basically a whole bunch of styles. So we can go in here and just say apply resource and actually choose. Some of them are really big, so you can see that's actually getting clicked. But these are basically built-in operating system fonts. And if the user actually changes the device color, then these resources will change automatically. So I'll just actually go to the blue one, for instance. Although I don't think blue for their like UX guidelines, this isn't the proper use. But if you're actually using one of the devices, one of the options that users can do is they can actually change the theme from being like the blue theme to being something like the green theme or something. And you'll actually see how that would affect your application. So if you really want to sort of use that user customization of the sort of profile colors, it's very easy to consume those. Another example of where you would use something like this is, let's see. Take a rectangle, and for instance, if I have like a white rectangle, looks good on the black background, you really notice it. But also, if we change to the light theme, and then suddenly the colors of the app like invert. And this is the user setting. If you guys don't want to support light versus dark, you can hard code it. If you actually look at some of the applications, like Office or something like that, they have it. Or at least for now, they have it hard coded. I don't know if they're going to change that. But if you really want to follow essentially the user's preferences, then you really want to use like the themed resources. So for this, we can actually go back and say, instead of actually taking an explicit color, let's take one of the system resources. And for this, I'll take the phone contrast background brush. So it's sort of a light gray, sort of the zoom gray right here. If I switch the theme back to white, you can see a different light theme. That's white. Especially for text, where you're going to go from like light on dark to dark on light. It's sort of good to, especially if the devices, if you're going to allow the user to actually change the themes, it's great to test between those two to make sure that everything shows up properly. One of the big features that we have inside of Blend, basically focusing on designers, is animation. This is very important for the phone, where animation is a very big part of Windows Phone 7, of the operating system, of the whole field. Basically, UI should have very seamless transitions, very seamless interactions, smooth animations and everything. So we make it fairly easy to actually do stuff inside of the phone, or for animation. For example, I'm just going to add some VSM states. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them, but basically VSM is it's short for Visual State Manager, and it allows you to basically define different states of your UI. Let me actually set up, like, I'm just going to do, I don't know if you've seen like the little flyout. There's very often in the UI they have this sort of page flip animation. I'll just show how to actually set that up. It's very easy to do it from scratch. Basically what I need to do is set the center point of the rotation on the X. So I'm just multiplying this value down there here on the far left side. And then I'm going to make an animation here. So I'll just make two states, essentially dummy names. So I'll just say out, and then in the out state, I want this thing to rotate and rotate along. I was screwed up. Rotate along the y-axis. Oops, I just multiplied one up there. But you get the point, like how that actually animates. So I want that to be out, like rotated out a bunch. Maybe opacity, just take that thing, fade it out, so you don't actually see it at the angle. In here we'll add like a transition, so it takes a little bit of time. So right now we have two different states. One of them is in, or one of them is flat. One of them is actually translated out. Half second, and then basically when we go in between, you can see how that transition is playing. From code, you just call like Visual State Manager, go to state, and we'll play that transition. So you say go to the out state, and we'll automatically just do whatever transition it needs to do to get there. And you can also do things like give it a little bit of easing so that it has nice transitions. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. It's a pretty easy thing to do. We've had it for quite a while, but it is actually useful inside the phone when you're trying to give the user some feedback, like some nice sort of more tactile feedback, I guess, if something happened. If you're actually doing like full-on page transitions, Carl asked me to call this out. There's actually a bunch of code samples out on the web. I don't know the exact URLs, but I bet you can search for them, where the best approach for actually doing like page-to-page transitions is there's some transition and content control samples where you actually retemplate essentially in frame, and that's in app.xaml. You just grab the code, like find the code, copy paste it, put it in there, and it will just follow like Windows Phone 7 like sort of look and feel guidelines. That's usually a better approach than trying to do your own animation, like getting the timing right, getting the easing right. Just follow the samples that are already out there, and you can do it once in your application, and it will apply for the entire application. I'm actually going to clean up these states, and another thing that the transitions are really cool for is basically for orientation support. So at design time, we have, same thing, Visual Studio has this as well, but basically you have different orientations of the page. So landscape to portrait. For this, you can imagine an app. I'm just going to sort of resize some things. So take this list box and push it up some. Take a couple buttons on the bottom. Actually, I should just double-click the buttons. If you auto-size the buttons, not into the list box, but if you auto-size the buttons, then they will automatically get the recommended size. This goes for Visual Studio as well. If you just type it in, so don't go setting explicit widths and heights or anything, or explicit heights. There's actually UI guidelines for that depend on how your UI is set up. But try to keep your heights just automatic sizing. Sort of random tip. So two buttons, you can imagine nice UI, so we have a nice list, and you have like your OK cancel button or something like that at the bottom of it. And now you go into this mode, and that layout, that looks a little wacky. We're wasting a lot of space over here, so we actually want to essentially change the UI around some to actually account for the other orientation. For this, I'm going to use states as well. Remember, if you go into the other orientation, you're going to support both. You have to turn on orientation support. I always forget that. So I'm just going to take this state group, call it like I don't know, something like orientations, or that name doesn't actually matter, but it's nice to put there. And add two states. So let's call this. I always forget the name of them, but portrait and landscape. So in landscape, we can actually use a feature which allows us to do layout VSM, which allows you to basically do transitions between different layouts on the design surface, which is really useful for orientation where we're actually using layout, where we want to preserve layout for things such as localization. You want like the size of controls to still resize and everything. So layout is great by default. If you do sort of the transitions, we'll actually do render transforms because it's fairly tough to animate layouts. So in here, I can just like essentially the quick and dirty one is take the buttons. Maybe I'll just like put that guy above there, take my list box, put it down, and maybe even hold list box over or something like that. Oh, and I still have my half-second transition from before. But basically, we can go in between here and you can actually see the transition in between those two orientations. So it just sort of does like a little bit of consistency between the UI. So you can imagine when you move the device to actually switch those. Inside of Blend, one of the features that we're excited about or that we use a bunch is another Blend 3 feature, which is behaviors. I don't know if you guys have heard of them much, but essentially it's some drag drop interactivity that you can use and some really basic things. An example of something is I can take something like, let's see, go to state, so I can actually say like go to state when let's see, what's the state? So I can actually go to portrait state when a certain event occurs. So I can actually use it, like wire up the orientation for that. But these things are really easy to write, and so I actually wrote like a really simple one that I can just put on here. In orientation, it automatically listens for when the orientation changes and just says landscape, go to the landscape state, and portrait, go to the portrait state. And now when I actually run it on the device, and I go between the different modes, then we actually get like a quick transition between the different layouts. So it's quick and easy to do.
Do you have blog samples on that? Quick and easy?
Yeah. Actually, if you look for a fluid layout, we've done blog samples. There's code samples, and Kenny Young, like one of our architects on Blend, actually did a really awesome PDC talk. I think it was like a 20-minute PDC talk where he blew through like a ton of really cool samples in like 20 minutes, but all the code is included as well. And so this sample plus like a whole bunch of other things that will blow your mind if you've been trying to get like really rich animations inside of Silver Lake. It's actually a great one. So Kenny Young is his name, so you can look for that and fluid layout or something, animations, and I'm sure you'll find it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey Pete, can you go back to the emulator for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're in this local landscape mode,
Yep.
are we allowed to make the title smaller so that we got more room?
I'm the wrong guy to ask about the UX rules on that. Actually, if you look at a bunch of the apps, they don't, I don't think, so the question is whether or not my application, whether you have to have my, like, page name, a ton of the applications don't have that. And actually, if you use, like, Pivot or Panorama or something, so those controls, you look at a lot of the style guides around those. And, well, they do have titles, but it's only one title, and it's a little bit more